are a river city, a bold city, the First Coast, a place to create and to belong. Here, the sun shines a little brighter, and so do the people. We share a love for our region, a pride for Jacks, and a passion for the beautiful game, dedicated to giving everyone a sporting chance. Together, we will elevate soccer and sport in our community by lifting every voice. We are Sporting Club Jacksonville. We are Sporting Jacks.
Hello and welcome into the Sporting Jacks Report. I'm Cole Pepper. Coming up, we're getting down to the wire in the USL Super League playoff chase. Becky Burley joins us to size up the push for the postseason. Plus, how the Premier League's final weeks are bringing drama to the end of the season, even though the title's already clinched. But we start with another major milestone for Sporting Jacks. In the past 2 years, Sporting Jacks has been building the club and looking ahead to competing for the first time. There have been some important firsts. The launch of the club, of course, then the announcement of the first women's pro team coming to Jacksonville. More recently, head of soccer Mark Warburton was hired, and then Stacey Balaam named as the first head coach in club history. And on Tuesday of this week, another first, as the club revealed the inaugural kit that will be worn on the field in the first season. At an event at Friendship Fountain, attended by around 1,000 fans, Sporting Jacks unveiled the Adidas kits that will be worn by the USL Super League team starting in August. The USLW League and League 2 teams will also wear the kits starting this week as the season begins for those pre-professional teams. Youth teams will also be wearing new kits starting later this year. It was a big day of firsts, and it continues to build the anticipation for kickoff in August.
You know, it's the foundation, right? Something new, something fresh, something clean, and just giving back to the community, give them an opportunity to come out and build and grow alongside us. So again, it's an exciting time. It'll be even more exciting when we get our first win, right? Everybody likes winning, but that'll take some time, right, as we continue to build and build the right pieces. But I think to start is an amazing time. It's you see the support here, everybody that showed up today. So thank each and every one of you for coming and joining alongside us as we continue to grow this club and continue to grow Jacksonville.
Yeah, I mean, as you can see, it looked very sharp from the two that modeled it just now on this catwalk. First of all, thank you to Adidas for providing this sponsorship. It's as most of you know, it is a really big brand for soccer, the sport of soccer, obviously originated in Europe. And so we're really excited to be partnered with Adidas, and the colours look fantastic, and we hope that it just unites all of Jacksonville, not just everybody here, but the whole community, and everybody can represent in those colours. We're looking forward to that moment ourselves when we get started with the USL team, and can't wait. And I know we'll look good, so hopefully we can play good as well.
Well, it means a lot for us too. I mean, we are a sports brand and the culture born from it, and we don't take these partnerships and sponsorships lightly. We like to unite communities, and through the lens of both youth sport and professional sport, we firmly believe that Sporting Jacks has the formula right. So we are as honored to be a part of this as everybody sitting here.
As part of Tuesday's Fan Fest, the USLW League and League 2 teams were introduced. Some of these W League players could be playing professionally in the future, perhaps for Sporting Jacks. The League 2 team opens the season on Monday away at Brevard SC. The W League opened the season on Wednesday with a victory at Tallahassee Reckoning. Players from both the League 2 and W League squads were excited to be a part of the kit reveal, and even more excited to wear the kits on the field this season.
Oh, I think it was great. I mean, having everybody out here and us being able to show the kit how we did, I think it was awesome. When I first saw the kit, I was like, wow, like it's bright, you know. I love the material, and I think they just did a real good job with the details and everything. Oh, it's awesome, and it means a lot. It means a lot, but honestly, it caught me off guard whenever I came out and walked there by myself. But it was great. It was awesome.
Of course, there is another component to the kit reveal: the supporters. Fans will wear the kits in the stands and around town, and it's an important touch point connecting the club to the community. Fans had the opportunity to order their own shirts and gear at Tuesday's Fan Fest, and we are just months away from those shirts being on the pitch and in the stands at Hodges Stadium. It is time now for our USL Championship Game of the Week, and today we look at the most surprising team in the league this season, Loudoun United. Last season, Loudoun finished in 11th place in the Eastern Conference. Only Miami was worse. Fast forward to today, and it's a completely different story. United came into this weekend's matchup against Lexington SC atop the Eastern Conference standings, and they were looking to make a statement against the newest club in the championship. To Segra Field we go, and Loudoun playing at home, wearing the red kits. Lexington in the orange, 17th minute, and the road team will get the first goal. Elliot Goldthorpe sets up Marcus Epps. Epps in alone. One move and a finish. Good start for Lexington as they look for their second win of the season. 9 minutes later, Loudoun would equalize. Pedro Santos to Florian Vallot. Watch this finish here. Oh, just unstoppable, upper 90, 1-1 at halftime. Early in the second half, Keegan Tingy takes a pass in the box. He's pushed down from behind. That's a penalty despite the protestations. So it's Tingy who steps to the spot, and he gives Loudoun a 2-1 lead. Then after a second yellow card on Michael Adedokun leaves Lexington a man down, Loudoun would take advantage. Valo ahead to Abdel Abukora, who drives one off the keeper's hand and in. It's 3-1, 76th minute. Zach Ryan feeds Kwame Awua. Watch this shot from a tough angle here. Very narrow margin for error. He goes upstairs. It's 4-1. And for good measure, 87th minute. Alex Nagy turns down the shot in favor of Zach Ryan. Puts it away. 5-1, Loudoun United wins. It's their fourth win in their last 5 games. All right, let's bring in Mauricio Ruiz here. Mal, this is a remarkable turnaround we're seeing from Loudoun United. What are you seeing from them, and does this appear to be something that's sustainable?
Well, Cole, you said his name once in that 5-1 win against Lexington. Abukora, he is hot. He's leading the league in goals, and he is with some good company. Some players that we are often talking about, like Kyle Jennings from the Battery, Darren Smith from Detroit City, Justin Dillon from Colorado Springs. Like, these are all names that we're accustomed to knowing. And Abukora, he's a 20-year-old from Virginia. He's an academy product from DC United. And you remember, Loudoun United used to be a bit of an extension of DC United. A lot of academy players playing when they were in the USL Championship. Now they're an independent club, but they got the benefit from a lot of those players that matured into the play. He's made a professional debut at 16 years old and is now maturing into a really, really good player. And it's one of the main reasons why they're hot right now, 7 goals in 9 games.
Yeah, he is certainly making a difference. Let's take a look at the league standings here, starting with the Western Conference. And as you see, San Antonio on top with Monterey Bay, New Mexico United, and Tulsa as the top 4. This group really is the group that's been at the top all season long, although we're just 9-10 games in.
Yeah, and I would actually group probably the biggest surprise to me based on last year, El Paso Locomotive. Right there in 5th place, tied in points with FC Tulsa. They're really bunched up. They're only from 1 to 5. They're only 3 points away from each other. So a very competitive top of the West group right now.
Meanwhile, in the East, as mentioned, Loudoun United on top. You've got Lou City, Charleston Battery, Detroit City coming in there in 3rd. I do want to point out that it didn't take much for Miami United to get off the bottom of the table. They've crawled their way up now, starting to get a few results after a very rough start and a rough season a year ago.
Yeah, you're right, and I mean it's how how quickly can you turn things around. And Miami's certainly competing in that level now. They've really had a couple down years. There are a lot of surprises in the East, to be honest. I mean, you talked about Loudoun United being the #1 team and the biggest surprise. No surprise with Louisville City, no surprise with Charleston Battery. But when you look at North Carolina, remember, they were just promoted from USL League One last year for the first year. Now they're in 5th place in the league. As you mentioned, only 9 games in. And there's some surprise at the bottom. Tampa Bay Rowdies being at the bottom, Birmingham Legion being in the bottom 3. Those are surprises. Rhode Island started slow. If you remember, they started slow last year as well. They're starting to pick up some steam here. They're climbing up to 6th place, and they're looking pretty strong right now.
As things start to thaw out, here comes Rhode Island just in time. Last week, we didn't get a chance to cover the U.S. Open Cup, but I want to make sure we give it some time. Only one USL Championship team survived the round of 32. That was the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, who beat NYCFC on a goal 7 minutes into stoppage time. This, Mauricio, was not the kind of showing the championship was hoping for.
Yeah, definitely not. And, you know, with the additional cup that's happening with the Jägermeister Cup this year, you wonder how much of that has to do with the roster management or just really depth of roster, because how many teams can really compete in a domestic cup, Jägermeister, you know, the domestic league, domestic cup, and then a U.S. Open Cup. Probably the worst showing the U.S. Championship has had in a really long time. Pittsburgh Riverhounds are still alive, so let's hope that they can carry the torch.
And we'll be seeing to see if Pittsburgh can carry the banner for the USL any deeper into the tournament. All right, Mauricio, thanks so much. We invite you to join us for a Champions League watch party at Island Wing Company on Southside Boulevard. We'll be there with prizes and giveaways, plus an opportunity for you to celebrate with your fellow soccer fans. May 31st, Island Wing Company on Southside. We will see you there. And season tickets are on sale now for Sporting Jacks' inaugural season in the USL Super League. The season begins in August, and tickets start as low as $10 per game for students and go up to the field seats and premium hospitality. You can even pay for your season tickets with an interest-free installment plan. Get all the benefits of season ticket ownership from your first payment. Be a part of the first professional women's team in Jacksonville. Go to sportingjacks.com or call 904-863-KICK to join the movement. Still to come, Becky Burley joins us as the USL Super League heads into the home stretch. That's next as the Sporting Jacks report rolls on. As the USL Super League season hurdles toward the playoffs, you can catch every game streaming on Peacock. Tonight, the top two teams in the standings meet as Carolina Ascent hosts the Tampa Bay Sun. Tuesday, DC Power welcomes Fort Lauderdale United. Then just 2 more weekends of the regular season before the playoffs. You can catch it all on Peacock. Let's take a look at the highlights around the USL Super League. We start with DC Power facing Dallas Trinity. DC already eliminated from playoff contention. They find themselves down 2-1 to Dallas in the second half, but how about some fight? 63rd minute, Susanna Fitch puts back the equalizer to level things. Looks like it's going to be a draw, but in stoppage time, Fitch on the break sets up Loza Gaynor. 5 minutes into stoppage time, DC wins it 3-2. More stoppage time action. Brooklyn FC leading Spokane 2-1 until 2 minutes into stoppage time. Allie Cook, the left-footed shot. It is her 5th of the year, and there's the winner from Gaynor with DC United winning 3-2. Back now to Brooklyn FC and Spokane. Allie Cook with a shot along the ground. It is just enough, gets past the keeper. That earns Zephyr the point in a 2-2 draw. Finally, Lexington SC hosting Tampa Bay Sun. Tampa Bay trying to improve their chances for the postseason. Late first half, look at this pass from Flu Nielsen, and Victoria Hogan delivers. It's 1-0 Sun. Second half, more from Tampa Bay. Again, it's Flu, who has been just a revelation since she showed up in Tampa. She sets up Parker Goins on the run out. Goins, a midseason addition to the Sun, makes it a 2-0 lead. And for good measure, hey, you got to score in stoppage time this week, apparently. This time it's Hogan setting up Flu. Her 9th goal on the season, tied for 5th best in the league. Tampa Bay wins it 3-0. Here's a look at the standings in the USL Super League. With just a couple of weeks to play, you've got Carolina Ascent on top with Tampa Bay, Spokane, and Dallas all right now in position to make the postseason. Brooklyn battling for that final spot. Fort Lauderdale has not yet been eliminated. DC Power, Lexington SC have been. Right now there are 6 teams still alive for 4 spots. Carolina has clinched at least a spot. Seeding still to be determined in the USL Super League. All right, let's welcome in Becky Burley now, and we're going to start with the kits. We have to. Let me get your thoughts on the inaugural kits we rolled out earlier this week.
Well, what I feel like is every time we have some kind of announcement like this, it just makes it feel more and more real. And that kit is fire. First of all, I love the colors. And so that combination of colors is really, really sharp. And you could put any combination of those colors together and it would look good, but man, it looks good. I'm fired up. I want one.
All right, we'll get one to you for sure. As mentioned, most teams in the USL Super League have 2 more games to go in the regular season. Which teams and players are impressing you the most right now?
Well, we keep talking about Spokane, and I can't really say enough about them because they were really, really low in the standings for quite some time in the early part of the year. And I just love the mentality of that group to continue the slow climb and to have the competitive stamina to continue to do that. And then, Tampa has hovered right around the middle of the table, like in and out of the playoff race. And I feel like they're making a strong surge. And then there's a couple that have sort of dropped a little bit. We talked a lot about Brooklyn, and Brooklyn was a bit of a surprise at the top of the table, and now they're probably settling back into maybe where there was an expectation of them to be from the beginning. So it's a fascinating look at this end of the season.
No doubt about it. How about the players? Which players are you seeing that are starting to raise their games as the playoffs approach?
There's just so many people who have emerged, and some of them are like, seasoned veterans. Like I always have admired Amber Brooks, who's playing for Dallas. She just doesn't maybe show up in the stats as much as some of the players that we might talk about, but she's certainly somebody who controls the game from a midfielder's perspective. We've talked a ton about Ekich for Spokane. I think she is like really driving that team. And then you look at Tampa closer to home. You've got a couple players in Nielsen and Flint who have really emerged as people who are making things happen there. And, late additions to that team have really added to their surge here at the end.
Is there anything a team can do right now in the final couple of weeks of the regular season that can impact their outcomes in the playoffs?
Well, the seeding is important because, home field, all those kind of things are really important. So it's not like there's any gimme games. Even with Carolina already having clinched, you want to feel like you are in a good spot going into the tournament to be able to be positioning yourself well. And to me, it's like the teams that really root into the process and are really like working as if they haven't clinched or acting as if they need, like it's just straight process. That to me, those teams are going to be the ones that are going to really be successful because their push isn't really dictated by their standings. It's more dictated by what their standards are during the regular season.
All right, good stuff, Becky. Thank you. We'll talk to you next week. If you sign up for season tickets now for the USL Super League season, you'll receive a limited edition inaugural season scarf. Be a part of the first pro women's team in Jacksonville history. Go to sportingjacks.com or use the QR code on your screen for more. Still to come, our youth soccer spotlight. How thousands of soccer fans enjoyed the launch of the kit, especially what's happening with the USL W League team. Wearing the kit right there. More to come. This is the Sporting Jacks Report. The inaugural kit has now been unveiled, and you can order your own. Use the QR code on the screen to order your official Sporting Jacks kit. You can also go to sportingjacks.com to buy other officially licensed team merchandise items. All right, time now for the Youth Soccer Spotlight. And one of the things that we've talked about throughout the course of this year, presented by the Bearded Pig Barbecue, the USLW team. This is the pre-professional team made up of college stars, and they kicked off on Wednesday night in their season. This is a team that has a lot of expectations for the year. Last year, they were the #1 ranked team in the country, playing under the Florida Elite banner. For the first time this year, though, the squad is playing as Sporting Jacks. This year's roster has players from Jacksonville and all around the country, as well as international players who are playing college soccer in the United States. And for the players, it's a chance to show a professional club what they can do and perhaps forge a career in the sport they love.
Yeah, so for me, pro aspirations are high, so having this connection between the W League and the Super League, that's something really exciting, not just for me, but for all the girls and the younger girls as well. Having something to be able to look forward to and strive towards, that's great for the community. Honestly, I'm excited. Last year, as we said before, we're #1 in the country, and hopefully I think this team can be even stronger and we can go even bigger and better.
Excited to see them train. Yesterday I went by their session and got to meet the players in training, and just to see the excitement from them. They have a game tonight, so they're really keen to learn a little bit more about the process of what it's going to take if they were to to receive an offer from us. I mean, this is a great pathway for them, and they know that. If it doesn't happen and it's not meant to be, then there are other pathways for them to go on and continue to play and further their careers. But right now they're representing Sporting Jacks, and I know that they're going to wear that uniform proudly. But it was great to get to know some of them last night and talk to them and hear about where they come from, who they played for, who they're currently playing for. And I look forward to watching them tonight.
The first home game for the W League team is scheduled for June 3rd at Mandarin High School. All USL League 2 and W League games are free to attend. For more on Sporting Jacks in the world of soccer, join Head of Soccer Mark Warburton, Head Coach Stacey Balaam, and me every Tuesday night at 6 on 1010XL for the Coaches Show, presented by Sporting Jacks. You can listen on air on 1010 AM or online on demand at 1010XL.com. And be sure to join Mauricio, Becky, and me every Thursday night at 6 for the Sporting Jacks Soccer Hour. We cover the entire soccer world, including Sporting Jacks and the USL. Thursday nights at 6 on 930 Fox Sports Radio Jacksonville or the iHeart app. Still to come, how the battle for the final Champions League spots will play out in the Premier League. That's next as the Sporting Jacks Report rolls on. You can catch the Sporting Jacks Report every Saturday at 12:30 on NBC 12. You can also find us on demand on First Coast News Plus and the Sporting Jacks YouTube channel. Tomorrow, Arsenal hosts Newcastle at the Emirates. This is number 2 against number 3 in the Premier League table, with one more game to go next week. If there is a winner, that team will clinch a spot in the Champions League next season. Arsenal can clinch with a draw. Mauricio, it's a tight race with 6 teams still in contention for 4 Champions League spots after Liverpool.
Yeah, Cole, and we kept talking about it this whole time. There's really no competition at the top, and there's really no competition at the bottom, which are typically pretty good and fun races to follow. But right now, it's actually quite interesting. I don't think we've ever had such a packed race for Champions League and really European spots as we have now. And there's storylines all in between there. And certainly Arsenal and Newcastle this weekend. Maybe there's a flip of second and third. Maybe a pride. It doesn't really matter. But it's going to be an interesting game.
Yeah, I don't know if this says more about the kind of parity that happens right now in the Premier League, at least among the top teams, that it's so tight. At the same time, you've got teams like Man U and Tottenham that are usually among the best teams. They're just barely above the relegation zone. So kind of a wild season in the Premier League.
Yeah, it really is, because if you consider that Man U typically is part of their competition, West Ham has been in the top 6, 7 as well. And then this year you got Nottingham Forest that they're kind of knocking on the door, and they've had a great year up to 3rd place most of the year. Could they make a surge in the last 2 games? Because they've really been struggling, and there's a door for them to kind of get in, specifically when they play Chelsea in the final game of the season.
Of course, Man City has had a stranglehold on the league for the last basically half decade. They will not win the league this year, but they do have a chance to win the FA Cup, playing right now against Crystal Palace. What would it mean for Crystal Palace to get their first piece of hardware?
Oh, that would be everything for Crystal Palace. I mean, they've actually had a pretty good season themselves. Also, they're not consistent enough, but getting that win against Man City, if they lift that trophy, would be incredible. I mean, it sets them up for a lot of different successes in the future as well, because now they've set a precedent that they can actually win trophies as part of the organization, and especially winning over Man City, which have had a difficult year. And Man City would love to capture that. They don't care who they're playing against, to finish this year potentially in 2nd place with an FA Cup title. It'll be pretty successful in a tremendous coaching job done by Pep Guardiola as well.
All right, Mauricio, thanks so much. And thanks to you for joining us. We'll be back here next week for another installment of the Sporting Jacks Report.